Hey there. Welcome back to another cosmic journey. I'm so glad you're here with me tonight. You know, there's something I've been wanting to tell you about. Something that's been hidden in plain sight for centuries. Our solar system has over 200 moons. 200. Can you imagine that? And yet, we only ever talk about maybe 5 or 6 of them. There's our moon, of course, Europa with its hidden ocean, Titan with those methane lakes, and that's usually where the conversation ends. But tonight, we're going somewhere special. We're visiting all of them, every single moon, from the ones as big as planets, to the tiny captured asteroids just a few miles across. They've been out there this whole time, circling, waiting, keeping their secrets. And you know what? If you're finding some comfort in these words already, if this journey sounds like exactly what you need tonight, I'd be so grateful if you gently tap that like button. It really helps other restless souls find these peaceful moments. And maybe, if you'd like more of these cosmic adventures, you could subscribe, join our little community of stargazers and dreamers. I'd love to hear in the comments which moons you've always wondered about. But there's no pressure at all. We're just here together, floating through space, and that's enough. So let's get comfortable now. Wherever you are, just let your body find its natural resting position. Feel how the weight of the day starts to dissolve, melting away, like morning frost on a telescope lens. Take a breath with me, nice and easy, in through your nose and out through your mouth. There we go. And another one, breathing in the quiet darkness of space, breathing out any tension you've been carrying. You don't need it. Where we're going, your eyelids are getting pleasantly heavy now, like they're being pulled by the gentle gravity of sleep. And that's perfect. You can close them whenever you feel ready, or keep them softly open. Whatever feels right, your breathing is finding its own peaceful rhythm, like the steady orbit of a moon around its planet, round and round, steady and sure. Tonight, you're becoming something extraordinary. You're transforming into an eternal observer, a consciousness that can drift from moon to moon, taking as long as you need, centuries if you want. Time doesn't matter out here. You'll start your grand tour right here at Earth's familiar moon, the one you've known all your life. Then you'll spiral outward, visiting every single moon in order. First, to Mars, with its 2 tiny companions. Then out to Jupiter, oh Jupiter, with its 95 confirmed moons. Can you imagine? 95 worlds, each one unique, some covered in ice, some belching volcanic sulfur, some so small they're basically captured space rocks. But they all count. They're all part of this incredible family. You'll catalog each one like a cosmic librarian of the night sky. Moon number 47, you'll observe Lysithea, 17 miles wide, taking 259 days to circle Jupiter. And you'll notice how each one has its own story, its own personality. Some have geysers, but not violent ones. No. These are gentle fountains of ice and water, reaching up like fingers, trying to touch the stars. Some have lakes of liquid methane, but these aren't turbulent seas. They're mirrors of perfect stillness, reflecting the distant sun. Saturn's waiting for you too, with 146 moons. Yes, 146. More than we even knew about just a few years ago. They keep finding new ones. Tiny shepherds, herding the rings. Frozen worlds, larger than Mercury. Moons within moons. It's like a whole solar system in miniature. And then further still, to Uranus, with its tilted family of 27, Neptune, with its backward spinning Triton, and 15 other companions. Even little Pluto has 5 moons of its own. Imagine that, a dwarf planet so far from the sun that it takes 248 years to complete one orbit, and it has 5 moons, keeping it company in that lonely darkness. You're going to visit them all, every single one, in a journey that'll take us through the next couple of hours, or however long you need. Some people drift off after visiting just a dozen moons. Others make it all the way to the outer edge, and some just float along with the rhythm of the names and numbers, letting them wash over like a lullaby of the cosmos. There's no rush, no schedule to keep. You're an eternal observer now, moving at the speed of thought, or slower if you prefer. Drifting on solar winds, carried by gravity's invisible hands. Each moon is a stepping stone across the darkness, each one bringing you deeper into this peaceful exploration, deeper into rest. So let's begin. Let's leave Earth behind for a little while. You're lifting off now, so gently, like a feather caught in an updraft, the blue marble of Earth shrinking below. And there, right there in front of you, is your first stop, the moon, our moon, the one that started it all. You're approaching it now, moon number 1 in your eternal catalog, Earth's moon. 2,159 miles across, orbiting every 27.3 days. But you know what's beautiful? This isn't just a chunk of rock. It's the reason we're here at all. Without this moon, Earth would wobble wildly on its axis. The seasons would be chaos. Life might never have found its rhythm. You drift closer, close enough to see the sea of tranquility, that vast plain of ancient lava, frozen in time billions of years ago. It's not really a sea, of course, just a smooth expanse that looked like water to early astronomers. They gave all these features such poetic names: the ocean of storms, the lake of dreams, the marsh of sleep. Yes, there's actually a marsh of sleep up there, waiting for you. The surface is so quiet, so perfectly still. There's no air to carry sound, no wind to disturb the footprints left by the Apollo astronauts over 50 years ago. Those boot prints are still there, exactly as they were, and they'll remain for millions of years, undisturbed, patient, eternal, just like you are now. You notice the terminator line. That's what they call the boundary between day and night on the moon. And it's creeping across the surface so slowly. At the equator, it moves about 10 miles per hour. You could outrun it if you were walking down there. Imagine that, outrunning the sunset. But you're not in any hurry. You're just observing, cataloging. The far side comes into view as you drift around, the side that always faces away from Earth. It's rougher here, more craters, more scars from ancient impacts. Each crater has a name: Tsiolkovsky, Gagarin, Apollo, humanity's heroes, remembered in stone and shadow. The largest is the South Pole Aitken Basin, over 1,600 miles wide, created by an impact so powerful it rang the moon like a bell. But that was billions of years ago. Now it's just a gentle depression, a place where shadows gather. You're noticing the colors now. And yes, there are colors, subtle ones. The Maria, those dark plains, have a slightly greenish tint in some lights. The highlands are touched with gold and brown. And during certain angles of sunlight, you might see a flash of orange or deep amber. The moon isn't just gray. It's a whole palette of quiet colors, waiting for patient observers like you to notice. There's something called earthshine, illuminating the dark portions. It's sunlight that bounced off Earth and now softly lights up the moon's night side. Like Earth is reading the moon a bedtime story with reflected light, sharing its glow. And you can see it all from your eternal viewpoint, the whole system of light and shadow, give and take. Time to move on now. But you'll carry this moon with you. Its familiar face, a comfort as you journey outward. You're leaving Earth's orbit behind, drifting through the darkness, through the space between worlds where there's nothing but starlight and silence. Millions of miles of perfect quiet. Mars is growing larger now, that rusty red pearl, and you can already see them, two tiny specks racing around it, Phobos and Deimos, fear and panic. The ancient Greeks called them the horses that pulled the war god's chariot. But there's nothing fearsome about them now. They're just two small, potato-shaped rocks, captured asteroids, most likely, gently circling their adopted parent. You approach Phobos first, moon number 2 in your catalog. Just 17 miles across, at its widest point. So small, you could walk its entire circumference in a few hours. It's racing around Mars 3 times a day. Imagine that. 3 sunrises, 3 sunsets, every single Martian day. It orbits so close to Mars that it's actually below synchronous orbit, which means it rises in the west and sets in the east, backwards from everything else. The surface is strange here, covered in grooves, parallel lines that run for miles, like something dragged massive fingers across it. Scientists think these formed when an impact almost shattered Phobos completely. Almost, but not quite. It held together, scarred, but intact, still circling after all these years. There's a crater here called Stickney, named after the wife of the astronomer who discovered Phobos. It's huge for such a small moon, over 5 miles across. You could fit a small city inside it. The impact that created it must have nearly destroyed this little moon. But here it is, still faithful to its orbit, still dancing around Mars. You notice something beautiful. Phobos is getting closer to Mars, just a tiny bit each year, about 6 feet per century. In about 50 million years, it'll either crash into Mars or break apart into a ring. But that's so far in the future. For now, it just spirals, ever so slowly, inward, like a cosmic ballet in extreme slow motion. Now you're drifting over to Deimos, moon number 3. Even smaller than Phobos, at just 7.5 miles across. It's farther out, taking 30 hours to complete one orbit, much more leisurely, more relaxed. Like Phobos was the anxious sibling, and Deimos is the calm one. The surface here is smoother, fewer of those dramatic grooves, more gentle, covered in a blanket of fine dust called regolith. It's been gathering for billions of years, every tiny impact adding a few more grains, building up this soft covering. If you could stand on it, your footprints would sink deep into this powder, like walking on the softest beach. Deimos is moving away from Mars, just the opposite of Phobos, drifting outward ever so slowly. Eventually, millions of years from now, it'll escape Mars entirely, become a lonely asteroid again, wandering the solar system, but not yet, not for ages and ages. For now, it's content to circle, to continue its ancient pattern. From here, you can see Mars below, those massive volcanoes, Olympus Mons, rising 13 miles high, nearly 3 times taller than Everest, but so gently sloped you could walk up it without really climbing. And the great rift of Valles Marineris, stretching across the planet like a scar, or maybe like a smile, depends on how you look at it. These two moons, Phobos and Deimos, they're like guardians, tiny sentinels watching over a dead world, or maybe a sleeping world. Mars was warm once, had water, maybe even life. Now it's quiet, resting. And these two moons keep their vigil, racing and drifting, approaching and retreating, a cosmic dance that's been going on for millions of years. Time to leave Mars behind now. You've cataloged 3 moons, only about 200 more to go, but there's no rush. Remember, you're eternal now. You have all the time in the universe. The next stop is Jupiter, and oh, what a stop it's going to be. 95 moons, a whole collection, a treasury of worlds, You're accelerating now, but gently, like sliding down a hill made of starlight. Mars shrinking behind you, getting smaller, redder, until it's just another point of light. The journey takes time. Weeks, months. You don't really keep track anymore. Distance out here is measured in astronomical units. AUs, they call them, the distance from Earth to the Sun. And Jupiter sits at 5.2 AUs, 5 times farther from the Sun than Earth. The sunlight's getting weaker, softer, more like candlelight than daylight. And then you see it. Jupiter. Massive, beyond comprehension. You could fit 1,300 Earths inside it. But numbers don't really capture the feeling. It's like approaching a living thing. Those bands of clouds churning, that great red spot spinning like a sleepy eye, and around it is a whole symphony of moons. You'll start with the 4 giants, the Galilean moons, discovered by Galileo over 400 years ago, when he pointed his tiny telescope at Jupiter and changed everything. These 4 moons proved Earth wasn't the center of everything, showed us we're part of something bigger. Here comes Io, moon number 4, in your eternal catalog. 2,264 miles across, just a bit smaller than Earth's moon, orbiting Jupiter every 42 hours. But Io isn't like our quiet moon. No, Io's alive. You drift closer and you can see them, fountains of sulfur, rising hundreds of miles into the airless sky. Not violent, just steadily blooming upward, like inverse waterfalls, painting the surface in yellows and oranges and reds. It looks like a cosmic pizza, some people say. And they're not wrong. Those colors, swirling and mixing. This is the most volcanically active world in our entire solar system. But don't think of destruction. Think of creation. Every eruption's making new ground, resurfacing this moon constantly. There are no impact craters here because Io keeps covering them up, painting over its own canvas again and again. It's been doing this for billions of years, and it'll keep doing it for billions more. The volcanoes have such wonderful names: Prometheus, Loki, Pele, gods and goddesses of fire from cultures all around Earth. And the largest, Loki Patera, is over 126 miles across, a lake of molten rock. But from up here, it just looks like a dark, peaceful pool. You're moving outward now to Europa, moon number 5, 1,940 miles in diameter, taking 85 hours to circle Jupiter. And oh, Europa, the surface is pure ice, smooth as marble in some places, cracked like broken glass in others. These ridges and lines crisscross the entire moon. They're called lineae, and they have names like poetry: Agave linea, Belus linea, Cadmus linea. But here's the secret. Europa's been keeping beneath that ice, maybe 15 miles down. There's an ocean, A real ocean of liquid water, more water than in all of Earth's oceans combined, just sitting there in the darkness, kept warm by Jupiter's massive gravity, kneading Europa like dough sometimes. And this is so beautiful. Sometimes geysers of water burst through the ice, reaching up 100 miles high before falling back as snow. Can you imagine? It's snowing on Europa right now. Tiny ice crystals drifting down onto that frozen surface, accumulating grain by grain. NASA's sending a spacecraft called Europa Clipper. It's already on its way. Won't arrive until 2030, but it's going, sailing through the darkness to study this moon, to peek beneath the ice. Maybe, just maybe, there's something swimming in that hidden ocean. But even if there isn't, just the ocean itself is miracle enough. Ganymede comes next, moon number 6, and this one's special. It's the largest moon in the entire solar system, 3,374 miles across, bigger than Mercury. If it orbited the Sun instead of Jupiter, we'd call it a planet. It takes exactly 7 days to orbit Jupiter. 1 week. Such a perfect number. And Ganymede has everything: ice and rock, a thin oxygen atmosphere, even its own magnetic field. The only moon that does. It's like a whole world, complete and self-contained. The surface tells 2 stories. Dark regions, called Galileo Regio and Nicholson Regio, ancient and cratered, billions of years old, and bright regions of grooved terrain, younger, formed when the surface cracked and fresh water welled up from below and froze. Like the moon renovated itself partway through its life, there's an ocean here too, buried under 95 miles of ice, deeper than Europa's, sandwiched between ice layers like a cosmic layer cake. The Hubble telescope figured this out by watching Ganymede's auroras. Yes, it has auroras, green ribbons of light dancing at its poles. And now Callisto, moon number 7, 2,195 miles wide, orbiting every 17 days, out where Jupiter's radiation isn't so intense. The quiet one, the peaceful one. This is the most heavily cratered object in our solar system. Every impact preserved perfectly, like a history book written in scars. The largest crater, Valhalla, is 1,200 miles across. But it's not a harsh crater. Time has softened it into a series of gentle rings, like ripples frozen in ice. Callisto's surface is 4 billion years old, unchanged, unmodified. It's been watching everything else change, while it stays exactly the same. There's something deeply peaceful about that, something reassuring. There might be an ocean here too, 155 miles down. But Callisto keeps its secrets well, doesn't advertise, just maintains its ancient face while possibly harboring water in its depths. These 4, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, they're like a little solar system of their own. You can actually watch them dance around Jupiter night after night with just binoculars. Galileo did it with much less. They speed up and slow down, disappear behind Jupiter and reappear, eclipse each other. It's been going on since before Earth formed, this celestial clockwork. But they're just the beginning. Jupiter has 91 more moons, and you're going to visit them all. The next group starts getting smaller, stranger, more irregular. These aren't the major moons anymore. These are the forgotten ones, the ones nobody talks about. Here's Amalthea, moon number 8, shaped like a potato, 155 miles long, but only 75 miles wide. It orbits so close to Jupiter, it completes a circuit in just 12 hours, racing around like it's in a hurry. The surface is deep red, redder than Mars, probably stained by sulfur that Io spewed out and Amalthea collected. It's been gathering Io's volcanic ash for millions of years, wearing it like makeup. There's something odd here. Amalthea gives off more heat than it receives from the sun. It's warm, mysteriously warm, maybe from electrical currents induced by Jupiter's magnetic field, or maybe something else. Another secret. Next comes Himalaya, moon number 9, 106 miles across, taking 250 days to orbit. Much more leisurely out here. It's the largest of Jupiter's irregular satellites, probably a captured asteroid, wandering too close and getting caught by Jupiter's immense gravity. Then Lysithea, moon number 10, the one from the beginning, just 17 miles wide. Another captured asteroid, probably taking 259 days to complete its journey around Jupiter. And Alara, moon number 11, 50 miles across, discovered in 1905 at Lick Observatory in California. Imagine being the person who first saw this tiny dot, who realized it was a moon, adding one more to the count. Ananke, moon number 12, 18 miles wide, orbiting backwards, what they call retrograde, going against the flow. It takes 631 days to complete one orbit, almost 2 Earth years, and it's the head of its own little family. Other tiny moons that follow similar paths. The Ananke group, Carme, moon number 13, 28 miles across, also retrograde, taking 692 days. It has its own family too, the Carme group. These families probably formed when larger moons broke apart, siblings scattered, but still following similar paths. Pasiphae, moon number 14, 35 miles wide, another family leader, the Pasiphae group, orbiting so far out, it takes 735 days. The names come from Greek mythology, lovers and daughters of Zeus, which is what the Greeks called Jupiter. Sinop, moon number 15, 23 miles across, way out there, taking 758 days, over 2 years, discovered in 1914, forgotten by most, but still faithfully circling. The numbers are getting hypnotic now, aren't they? Each moon, with its number, its size, its orbital period, like counting sheep. But these sheep are worlds, tiny worlds. Most people will never know exist. Kaliru. Moon number 16, just 5 miles across. Discovered in 1999, we didn't even know it existed until recently, taking 759 days to orbit. Themisto, moon number 17. 5 miles wide, lost for 25 years after its discovery, then found again, like it was playing hide and seek. Megaclite, moon number 18, 3 miles across. Taget, moon number 19, 3 miles. Chaldine, moon number 20, 2.5 miles. Harpa-like, moon number 21, 3 miles. They blend together now, these tiny worlds. Kalika, number 22. Iokaste, 23. Erinome, 24. Isono, 25. Praxidike, 26. Each one is somebody's discovery, somebody's moment of wonder. Looking through a telescope and realizing there's another moon, another member of Jupiter's vast family. Autonoe, 27. Thion, 28. Hermippe, 29. Discovered in 2001. Eurydice, 30. Sponde, 31. Pasithe, 32. The names flow like a river now, an ancient river of mythology. Euanthe, 33. Kale, 34. Orthosi, 35. Eupori, 36. Aetna, 37. Some are only a mile across, barely moons at all, but they count. They matter. They're part of the census, part of the family. Helike, 38. Awawed, 39. Hegemony, 40. Kalichor, 41. Kalika. Wait, did I say that one already? It's getting hard to keep track, but that's okay. That's perfectly okay. You're just drifting, observing. Carpo, 42. A tiny world, just 2 miles wide. Euclide, 43. Selene, 44. Cora, 45. Hers, 46. And here's Lysithea again. Or wait, no. That was earlier. See how they blur together? These tiny moons, with their ancient names. Dia, 47. Discovered in 2000, and then lost. Then found again in 2010. Like it was playing the longest game of hide and seek. The really small ones now, the ones that don't even have names yet, just letters and numbers. S2003J2, that's moon 48, only a mile across. S2003J3, 49. S2003J4, 50. Can you feel the rhythm? The counting? Like a cosmic lullaby. S2003J5, 51. S2003J9, 52. S2003J10, 53. S2003J12, 54. They discovered 17 new moons around Jupiter in 2003 alone. 17 worlds we didn't know existed. And they're still finding more. S2003 J15, 55. S2003 J16, 56. S2003 J18, 57. S2003 J19, 58. S2003 J23, 59. 60 now. Moon number 60, S2011 J1. Then S2011 J2, 61. Found 8 years later. Jupiter keeps revealing new secrets, new companions. Valetudo, Moon 62. Discovered in 2018, just half a mile across. The tiniest named moon, orbiting in the wrong direction compared to its neighbors. A rebel, a maverick, going its own way. And the really recent ones, S2016, 63, S2017, 64, S2017 J2, 65, S2017 Dostri, 66. The numbers keep climbing. S2017, 67, S2017 J6, 68, S2017 J7, 69, S2017 J8, 70, S2017 J9, 71. We're at 72 now. S2018 J1, then S2018 J2, 73, S2018 J3, 74. Each one just a mile or two across. Breadcrumbs in space. But Jupiter's gravity holds them all, keeps them all. The newest discoveries. S2021. That's Moon 75. S2021 J2, 76. S2021, 77. Found just a few years ago. And then 12 more, found in 2022. Can you believe that? 12 moons, discovered, while you were going about your daily life. S2022, J1 through J12, that takes us to Moon 89, the latest batch from 2023. S2023 J1, that's Moon 90. S2023 J2, 91. S2023 J3, 92. S2023 J4, 93. S2023 J5, 94. And S2023 J6, 95. 95 moons, all circling Jupiter, from giant Ganymede, larger than a planet, to tiny unnamed rocks, barely a mile wide. A whole collection, a treasury, a family of worlds. You float here for a moment, watching them all, like a conductor watching an orchestra. Each moon in its own orbit, its own tempo, some racing close, some drifting far, some going backwards, but all held by Jupiter's invisible hand, all part of this grand celestial dance that's been going on for 4.5 billion years. The sun is just a bright star from here, giving barely enough light to see by. Everything's dimmer, quieter, more peaceful. The radiation that would kill a human in minutes doesn't bother you. You're eternal. Remember, just observing, just counting, just drifting. Time to move on. Saturn's calling. Another giant, another collection, even more moons than Jupiter. 136 at last count. Can you imagine? 146 worlds, circling one planet. The journey from Jupiter to Saturn takes time, lots of time. You're crossing the space where the asteroid belt peters out. where the solar system becomes truly empty. Saturn sits at 9.5 AU from the Sun, almost twice as far as Jupiter. As you travel, you notice something. Space isn't completely empty. There's dust, tiny grains, micrometeorites, catching the sunlight like the smallest glitter, and the solar wind. That stream of particles from the sun, getting weaker now, gentler, more like a whisper than a breeze. And then, and then you see it. Saturn. Nothing prepares you for Saturn. Pictures don't do it justice. It's not just the planet. It's the whole system. Those rings. Not just one ring, but thousands, made of billions of ice particles, from tiny grains to house-sized chunks, all orbiting, all reflecting sunlight, like a cosmic vinyl record made of diamonds and snow. The rings have gaps. The Cassini division, the Encke gap, the Keeler gap, and in these gaps, shepherding moons, tiny worlds that keep the rings organized, keep them sharp. Prometheus and Pandora, Atlas and Pan. They're sculpting the rings, have been for millions of years. But let's start with the moons proper, beginning close and working outward. Just like before. Pan, moon number 96 in your eternal catalog. Just 17 miles across, orbiting within the Encke gap. It's shaped like a walnut, or maybe a ravioli, with a ridge around its equator, where it's collected ring material, wearing it like a tutu. Daphnis, 97, only 5 miles across, clearing the Keeler gap. And as it moves, it creates waves in the ring edges, ripples that catch the sunlight, like a boat moving through cosmic water. Atlas, number 98, another weird shape, like a flying saucer, 19 miles across, holding the A-ring's sharp edge, a tiny guardian. Prometheus, 99, 53 miles long, but potato-shaped, stealing material from the F-ring and then giving it back, a cosmic thief with a conscience. Pandora, 100, following behind Prometheus, 50 miles across, the two of them dancing together, shepherding the F-ring, between them, Epimetheus and Janus. Moons 101 and 102, these two share almost the same orbit. Every 4 years, they swap places, approaching each other, exchanging momentum, then drifting apart. The only moons that do this. Cosmic dance partners, trading positions. Now we come to something special. Mimas, moon 103, 246 miles across. Oh, Mimas. People call it the Death Star moon because of that enormous crater. Herschel crater, 80 miles wide, on a moon that's only 246 miles across. The impact that created it nearly shattered Mimas completely, but it held together, scarred but whole. The crater makes Mimas look like a giant eye, watching. Always watching, but it's peaceful. The impact was billions of years ago. Now it's just a monument to survival. Enceladus, Moon 104, 313 miles wide. And this one's amazing. At the South Pole of Enceladus, there are geysers, over 100 of them, shooting water and ice particles hundreds of miles into space. They call them tiger stripes, these warm fissures. Damascus sulcus, Baghdad sulcus, Cairo sulcus, Alexandria sulcus. The geysers are feeding Saturn's E-ring, creating it, particle by particle. Enceladus is literally making a ring around Saturn, has been for who knows how long, and beneath its icy crust, another ocean, warm, possibly habitable. The Cassini spacecraft flew through these geysers, tasted them, found organic molecules, the building blocks of life as we know it. There's warm water down there, energy, chemistry, everything life might need, all hidden under ice, on a moon circling Saturn. Tethys comes next, Moon 105, 660 miles across, almost pure ice, so reflective. It's one of the brightest objects in the solar system. There's a canyon here, Ithaca Chasma, running 3/4 of the way around the moon, 60 miles wide, 3 miles deep, like someone tried to split Tethys in half, but didn't quite manage it. Telesto and Calypso, moons 106 and 7. These are Trojan moons, sharing Tethys's orbit, one ahead, one behind, like escorts, tiny worlds, only about 15 miles across, covered in smooth dust, no craters visible, like they've been dusted with cosmic snow. Dione, Moon 108, 698 miles across. Dione has wispy lines across its surface. They look painted on, delicate, artistic. They're actually ice cliffs, catching the light. But from up here, they look like someone drew on the moon with the finest brush. And Dione has Trojan moons too, Helene and Polydeuces, moons 109 and 110, more tiny companions, more dancers in this vast ballet. Rhea, Moon 111, Saturn's second largest moon, 914 miles across. Rhea might have rings of its own, the only moon that might, faint rings, barely there, like an echo of Saturn's glory. We're not sure. The evidence is unclear, but isn't it wonderful to think about? A moon with rings around a planet with rings. And now we come to the giant, Titan, Moon 112. Titan's special, 3,200 miles across, bigger than Mercury, the only moon with a thick atmosphere, so thick you can't see the surface, just this orange haze, like a creamsicle world. But underneath that haze, oh, what a world. Lakes of liquid methane, actual lakes, with shores and islands. It rains on Titan, methane rain, falling softly through the thick atmosphere, filling these lakes drop by drop. The largest lake, Kraken Mare, is bigger than all the Great Lakes combined. But it's not water, it's liquid natural gas, perfectly still, reflecting the dim sunlight that filters through the haze. There are rivers too, carved by flowing methane, and dunes made of hydrocarbon sand, and mountains of water ice as hard as rock at these temperatures. It's like Earth, but an alien Earth, a bizarre mirror world where water is the bedrock and methane flows. The Dragonfly mission is going there. NASA's sending a helicopter drone. It'll arrive in 2034, flying from place to place in that thick atmosphere, exploring this strange, familiar world. You could spend eternity just at Titan, watching the methane rain fall, watching the seasons change. It takes 29 Earth years for Titan to orbit Saturn, so each season lasts over 7 years. Imagine a 7-year winter, a 7-year spring. But there are more moons to catalog, always more moons. Hyperion, moon 113. And this one's strange, really strange. 170 miles across, but shaped like a sponge. Literally like a cosmic sponge, with deep craters that look like pores. It tumbles chaotically. No regular rotation, just tumbling, end over end, unpredictable. The only moon that does this, never knowing which face will point where, just rolling through space like a die that never stops. The surface is so dark in those deep craters, like looking into wells of shadow. But the ice between them catches light, sparkles, makes the whole moon look like it's flickering as it tumbles. Light, dark, light, dark, hypnotic. Iapetus, moon 114, 914 miles wide, and oh, Iapetus has been keeping such a beautiful secret. Half of it is bright as snow, the other half dark as coal. They call it the yin-yang moon, two-faced, split right down the middle. And there's this ridge running right around the equator, 12 miles high, like someone welded two halves together. From certain angles, Iapetus looks like a walnut, from others, like a distant mountain range wrapped around a sphere. It takes 79 days to orbit Saturn, always showing the same face to its direction of travel, the dark side forward, collecting dust, while the trailing side stays bright and clean. Now the moons get smaller again, quieter, more distant. Kivyuk, moon 115, just 11 miles across, taking 449 days to orbit backwards, retrograde, part of the Inuit group of moons, all named after Inuit mythology. Ijirak, 116, 8 miles wide, so far out, it takes 451 days, discovered in 2000 by astronomers in Canada. Phoebe, 117, 130 miles across, orbiting backwards, way out there, taking 550 days. Phoebe's probably a captured object from the Kuiper Belt, a visitor from the edge of the solar system that wandered too close, got caught. And now it's been circling Saturn for billions of years, dark, cratered, ancient. Palyak, moon 118, 16 miles across, another Inuit name, drifting so slowly. 687 days to complete one circuit. Skathi, 119. From Norse mythology now, 5 miles wide. Backward orbit, taking 728 days. The names become a poem. Albiorix, 120. From Gaulish mythology. Bebion, 121. Irish, Ariapus, 22. Gaulish again, Skal, 23. Norse, Siarnak, 24. Inuit, each culture contributing names as if the whole earth is naming these distant worlds together. Tarkek, 25. Tarvos, 26. Narvi, 27. Methone, 28. That one's close in, smooth as an egg, no craters at all, just perfect smoothness. Palina, 129. Polydeuces. Wait, I mentioned that one. Or was it? The numbers blur, merge. That's okay. Let them flow. Agir, Bergelmir, Bestla, Farbauti, Fenrir, Fornjot, Gripe, Hati, all Norse giants and wolves and gods. Hirokin, Yarnsaksa, Kari, Loja, Mundilfari, S2004-7, S2004-S12, S2004-S13, S2004-S17. Unnamed moons, just letters and numbers, patient, waiting for their names. S2006-S1, S2006-S3, discovered by Cassini while it was orbiting Saturn. Imagine being a spacecraft and discovering moons, adding to the count. S2007-S2, S2007-S3, and more. S2009-S1, found in the rings themselves. The recent discoveries, S2019-S1 through S2019-S21, 21 moons found in a single year, and then S2020-S1 through S2020-S10, another 10. We're up to 146 now. 146 moons around Saturn, from giant Triton with its methane rain to tiny unnamed moonlets hiding in the rings. You drift here for a long moment, watching this kingdom of ice and rock. The rings catch sunlight, billions of particles glittering, and through them, all these moons weaving in and out, some making waves in the rings, some providing material, some just watching. Saturn itself is so peaceful from here. Those butterscotch bands of clouds, no giant red spot like Jupiter, just gentle stripes, pale yellow, soft brown, cream, like looking at coffee with too much milk, swirling, mixing, but slowly, so slowly. There's a hexagon at Saturn's North Pole, a six-sided storm that's been spinning for who knows how long. Each side of the hexagon is wider than Earth, but it just turns, steady, patient, like a cosmic clock. Time is different here, softer. Saturn takes 29 Earth years to orbit the Sun. Imagine, if you were born on Saturn, you wouldn't even turn 1 Saturn year old until you were almost 30. It's time to drift outward again, leaving this collection behind. But you'll remember them, all 146, from the shepherd moons, sculpting rings, to distant Phoebe circling backwards in the darkness. Uranus is calling now, twice as far from the Sun as Saturn, 19 up Kaku, 19 times. Earth's distance, the sunlight here, is so faint, like looking at a bright star rather than a sun. Everything's twilight now, perpetual dusk. The journey takes so long, years, if you were traveling normally. But for you, time flows like honey, like syrup, sweet and slow. You're in no hurry, just drifting, carried by invisible currents. And then, you see it, Uranus, pale blue-green, like a marble made of ice and mist. But something's wrong, or not wrong, just different. Uranus is tipped on its side, rolling along its orbit like a ball, rather than spinning like a top. The whole system is tilted, the moon's orbit around Uranus's equator, which means they're going almost up and over, like a Ferris wheel knocked sideways. It's been like this for billions of years, ever since something huge hit Uranus and knocked it over. But gently, everything still works, just sideways. 27 moons here, not as many as the giants, but each one special. And they all have such beautiful names. Characters from Shakespeare and Alexander Pope, literary moons, poetic moons. Cordelia, moon 147 in your endless count, just 25 miles across, racing around Uranus in less than a day. It's right at the inner edge of Uranus's rings, shepherding them, keeping them in line. Ophelia, 148, 26 miles wide, just outside Cordelia. These inner moons are so close together, like beads on a string. Bianca, 49, Cressida, 150, Desdemona, 51, Juliet, 52, Portia, 53, Rosalind, 54, Cupid, 55, Belinda, 56, Perdita, 57. All these names from Shakespeare's dreams, from A Midsummer Night's Dream, Romeo and Juliet, The Tempest, as if the playwright scattered his characters among the stars. Puck, moon 158, 100 miles across, the mischievous sprite from Midsummer. And it looks mischievous, dark, cratered, but with bright spots like eyes. Mab, 59, Queen Mab, from Romeo and Juliet. She is the fairy's midwife, only 15 miles across. Discovered in 2003 from images Voyager 2 took back in 1986, hiding in the pictures all that time. Now we come to the big ones, the major moons. Miranda, moon 160, 293 miles across, and Miranda is broken, not broken, like destroyed, broken, like a puzzle put back together wrong. There are cliffs here, 20 times taller than the Grand Canyon, chevron patterns, corona away. They call them like geological crowns. It's as if Miranda was shattered and reassembled, or maybe it just formed this way. Chaotic, beautiful, aerial, 161, 720 miles wide. The brightest of Uranus's moons. The surface is scored with valleys, grabens, where the crust pulled apart and sank. Some of these valleys are filled with smooth material, like something flowed long ago, when Ariel was younger, warmer. Now it's all frozen, still. The geology stopped mid-sentence, billions of years ago. Umbriel, moon 162, 727 miles across, the darkest of the major moons. There's a bright ring at the North Pole, called Wunda Crater, the only bright feature on this dark moon, like a crown or an eye watching from the darkness. Titania, 163. Uranus's largest moon at 981 miles across. Huge rifts cross Titania's surface. Messina Chasma, stretching nearly 1,000 miles. These formed when the moon expanded, when water froze in its interior. Ice takes up more space than liquid water, so the whole moon swelled, cracked like paint on an expanding balloon. Oberon, moon 164, 946 miles wide, the outermost of the major moons. There's a mountain on Oberon, rising 11 miles from the floor of a crater, casting shadows across ancient ice. Some of the craters have dark floors, perhaps from dirty water that welled up after impacts, then froze, preserving that moment forever. And then the irregular moons, the captured ones, Francisco, Caliban with its slightly red color, Stefano, Trinculo, Sycorax orbiting backwards, Margaret, Prospero, Setebos, Ferdinand, more Shakespearean spirits. 27 moons total, from tiny Cupid to mighty Titania, all circling sideways around a tilted world. The sunlight here is 400 times dimmer than on Earth. Everything's in permanent twilight, colors muted, shadows soft. The seasons last 21 years each. Imagine a winter that starts when you're born and doesn't end until you're old enough to drink. You float here, counting, observing. The silence is perfect, absolute. Uranus itself is so quiet. No storms visible, just that pale blue-green serenity. Methane in its atmosphere, absorbing red light, reflecting blue, like Earth's evil twin, or maybe its sleeping sister. Time to move on. One more giant to visit. Neptune, the windiest planet, the last of the giants. Before we reach the true darkness, the journey from Uranus to Neptune, another billion miles, another step into the deep. Neptune sits at 30 AU, 30 times Earth's distance from the Sun. Out here, the Sun gives less light than the full moon does on Earth. Everything's darkness, with just hints of form, shadows of shadows. But your eternal eyes adjust, see everything, miss nothing. Neptune emerges from the darkness, deep blue, darker than Uranus, more intense, like a sapphire, glowing with its own inner light. And the winds, oh, the winds here move at 1,200 miles per hour. But there's no sound, no fury, just clouds streaming silently in the darkness. The fastest winds in the solar system, but gentle as whispers, because there's nobody to hear them. Neptune has 16 moons, not as many as the other giants. But what it lacks in number, it makes up for in strangeness. These moons shouldn't exist the way they do, but here they are, defying expectations, keeping their impossible orbits. Let's start with the tiny inner moons. Naiad, moon 191 in your eternal count, just 38 miles across. So close to Neptune, it orbits in just 7 hours. Racing, always racing. But here's something beautiful. Naiad and the next moon, Thalassa, are locked in a dance. Naiad's orbit wobbles, up and down, and every time Thalassa passes, they miss each other. Been doing this for millions of years. A cosmic near miss, repeated endlessly. Thalassa, moon 192, 50 miles wide, orbiting in 7.5 hours, just slightly slower than Naiad. And that tiny difference creates their dance, their pattern, their rhythm. Despina, 193, 94 miles across, shepherding Neptune's Leverrier ring, keeping it narrow, focused, sharp. Another guardian moon, another sculptor. Galatea, 94, 109 miles wide, shaping the Adam's ring. This ring has bright arcs, sections that are denser, brighter, and Galatea maintains them, has been for who knows how long. These arcs have names: courage, liberté, égalité, fraternité, named by French astronomers. Revolutionary names for revolutionary physics. Rings that shouldn't stay clumped, but do. Larissa, 195, 122 miles across, discovered in 1981, but then lost, not found again until Voyager 2 visited in 1989, hiding for 8 years. Hippocamp, moon 196, the newest discovery, just 11 miles across. Found in 2013 in old Hubble images. It's probably a piece of Proteus that broke off, a child moon, orbiting near its parent, and Proteus itself, moon 197, 273 miles wide, Neptune's second largest moon. Proteus is right at the limit. Any bigger, and its own gravity would pull it into a sphere. But it stays lumpy, angular, like a die that wasn't rounded off properly. It's darker than soot, reflects only 6% of sunlight, a shadow among shadows. Now we come to Triton, moon 198, and everything about Triton is wrong in the most beautiful way. It's huge, 1,680 miles across, larger than Pluto. But it orbits backwards, the only large moon that does. It wasn't born here. Triton was captured, pulled from the Kuiper Belt billions of years ago, and it's been slowly spiraling inward ever since. The surface is young, so few craters, because Triton is alive, geologically alive. Nitrogen geysers shoot 5 miles high in the thin atmosphere, but gently, like dark fountains. The nitrogen sublimates straight from ice to gas. No liquid phase, just transformation. There's a region called the cantaloupe terrain because it looks like the skin of a melon, bumpy, textured. Nobody knows how it formed. Another mystery, another secret. Pink snow falls on Triton, nitrogen snow with organic compounds mixed in, giving it that salmon color, accumulating in layers, building up, season by season, though seasons here last decades. In about 3.6 billion years, Triton will get too close, past Neptune's Roche limit, and it'll break apart, become a ring system that will make Saturn's look modest. But that's so far in the future. For now, it just orbits, backwards, patient, inevitable. Nereid, moon 199, 211 miles across, has the most eccentric orbit of any moon, swinging from 867,000 miles out to 6 million miles, taken 360 days, a whole Earth year. When Triton was captured, it probably disturbed Nereid, sent it into this wild orbit, and it's been swinging ever since, in and out, close and far, like it can't decide where it wants to be. The other moons are tiny, irregular. Halimede, 200. Sao, 201. Laomedea, 202. Samathe, 203. So far out, it takes 25 Earth years to orbit once. Neso, moon 204. The most distant moon of Neptune, 30 million miles out, taking 27 years to complete one orbit. By the time it circles Neptune once, a human could be born, grow up, graduate college, start a family. You've done it, counted them all. Well, all the major ones. There are more being discovered every year. Tiny worlds, some just temporary captures that will wander away again. From here, at Neptune's distance, the sun is just the brightest star. You could block it out with a pinhead held at arm's length. The solar system feels infinite from here. Endless dark, endless quiet. But wait, we're not quite done. There are a few more moons out past Neptune in the realm of the dwarf planets. Pluto has 5 moons, even though it's smaller than Triton. Charon, the largest, is so big compared to Pluto that they orbit each other, a double world, dancing in the darkness. Charon, moon 205, 750 miles across, half Pluto's size. They're tidally locked, always showing each other the same face, like dancers, frozen mid-spin, gazing into each other's eyes, forever. Styx, 206, Nix, 207, Kerberos, 208, Hydra, 209, all discovered in the 2000s. Tiny moons, around a tiny world, but still moons, still counting. Eris, farther out than Pluto, has 1 moon, Dysnomia, 210, orbiting every 16 days. Makemake has 1, MK2, 211, so dark it's almost invisible. Haumea has 2, Hiyaka and Namaka, 212 and 13, moons of a world shaped like an egg, spinning so fast it stretched itself out. We've lost count now. Or maybe the count doesn't matter anymore. There are moons around asteroids. Ida has Little Dactyl. Didymos has Dimorphos, the moon. NASA crashed a spacecraft to test if we could move an asteroid. There are quasi-moons, objects that orbit the sun, but stay near planets. Earth has several temporary companions that drift alongside us for a few years or decades, then wander away. The numbers blur, merge, become meaningless, or maybe meaningful in a different way. Each one is a world. Each one has been circling for millions or billions of years, patient, eternal. Just like you are now. You're floating past Neptune now, into the Kuiper Belt, where the comets sleep. Thousands of them, millions, chunks of ice and rock left over from the solar system's birth. Some have tiny moons of their own, binary objects, triple systems, families drifting together in the dark. The cold out here is absolute, just a few degrees above absolute zero, molecules barely moving, everything in slow motion. Even time seems frozen. You could drift here forever, counting moons, watching them circle. Some we haven't discovered yet, worlds that have been alone in the darkness since before Earth formed, waiting, patient as stones. But you know what's beautiful? Every moon you've visited, all 200 plus. They're all lit by the same sun, our sun, that little star that's now so faint. Behind you, they're all part of the same family, all born from the same cloud of dust and gas, all siblings in the dark. Some are volcanic, some are frozen, some have oceans, some are just rubble, held together by gravity, but they all circle, all dance, all keep their ancient appointments, rising and setting, approaching and retreating, reliable as breathing. You've been traveling for so long now, centuries maybe, or maybe just minutes. Time doesn't mean the same thing when you're eternal, when you're just consciousness drifting through the dark. The moons are with you now, all of them, in your memory, in your dreams. Eo's sulfur fountains, Europa's hidden ocean, Titan's methane rain, Enceladus's geysers, Miranda's cliffs, Triton's backwards orbit, all of them, part of you now. You're so far from home, but also, you've never left. You're still in your bed, still breathing slowly, still drifting towards sleep. The journey was real, but also a dream. Both things at once, the way the best journeys are. The counting continues. Even as you stop counting, the moons keep circling. Even as you stop watching, that's the beautiful thing about the universe. It continues, patient, eternal, whether we're watching or not. And if you're still awake, still floating out here in the cosmic dark with me, that's perfectly all right. Your mind might want to continue this journey, to dive even deeper into the mysteries of space. Maybe you'd like to drift along to another story. There's always another waiting, another path through the stars. Just let the next one begin. No need to move, no need to decide. Just let it carry you, like a river of starlight, flowing from one dream to the next. Or maybe you're ready to rest now, to let these moons fade into dreams, to let their names become a lullaby. Io, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, Titan, Enceladus, Miranda, Triton, all of them singing you to sleep. Thank you for taking this journey with me, for visiting all these hidden worlds, for caring about the moons nobody talks about. You've seen them all now, counted them, witnessed them. They're not hidden anymore, not from you. Every night when you look up, even if you can't see them, you'll know they're there. Hundreds of worlds circling in the darkness, keeping their eternal watch. And maybe that knowledge will help you sleep, knowing that the universe is so much bigger, so much fuller, so much more wonderful than we usually remember. The moons will keep circling while you rest. They've got nowhere else to be. No schedule to keep except their orbits, and those continue whether you're watching or not. So you can let go now, really let go. Your eternal journey is complete, but also it never ends. You can return whenever you want. Visit any moon, anytime. They'll be waiting, patient as always, circling in the dark. Close your eyes now, or let them close, however they want to. Feel how heavy they've become, weighted with stardust, with cosmic time, with the peace of infinite space. Sleep is calling you home, like gravity, gentle but insistent, pulling you down into dreams where moons might speak, where you might walk on Titan's shores, or swim in Europa's dark ocean, or watch Saturn rise over Enceladus. Good night, eternal observer. Good night, counter of moons. Sleep well among your 200 worlds, and dream of the moons nobody talks about until now, until you. Sweet dreams.